Hey, me again, Margaret. So I talked about earlier today, I had a mix tweak to do and mix revision, I guess. I've done that, and another client came back with some, and I'm finishing those as well. Just the tiny little tweaks here and there. So one of the things that you'll end up doing when you work with clients and you have a mix revision process, which give them a limit. Don't make it unlimited, or they'll use that, which isn't their problem, it's yours. So I tend to give them two revisions, so two rounds of asking for changes. And sometimes I'll extend it in certain circumstances if I feel like I missed it just a little bit, or I make a big change in one of the later revisions that I think works better, but I'd like to get their approval. I'm a cool guy. I'm not gonna. You must not have any more revisions. But anyway, but a lot of times the revisions will be simple things like, hey, can you turn the guitar solo up just a little bit. It's a little lost in the mix. Or maybe the earlier revision was it was too loud, and now they're saying, well, now it's a little too quiet. Can you bring it back up? So one thing you can do, and I'm doing this in a mix here, is you can come in, and obviously you can grab the fader and turn it up. But sometimes you want to check back and forth to see if the change is too much. Let's say you're thinking you want to turn it up 3 dB, but you're not sure. It'd be nice to be able to bounce back and forth between 3 dB up and 3 dB down to see if that's enough. So the way I do it, and I would recommend doing this when you're in the phase of just doing final revisions, and I do this all the time, is on the track in question, just slap a mix or a gain plugin on the track. If you don't have something, so Studio One has a mix tool that literally allows me to invert the phase and increase and decrease the volume or the gain. A gain knob can work, a gain plugin, or even an EQ that you just have it, an EQ, a flat EQ that has a volume control like this one, where you can just turn up the gain, the output of the EQ. Any of those will work. But on this one, I originally thought, he wants the guitar solo up. 3 dB is kind of my go-to. Bump things up 3 dB, see if that works. So I did, and it felt a little bit too loud. So here was the guitar solo before the gain. So he wants it a little bit louder. So I said 3 dB ought to do it. Boom, 3 dB. But once actually doing it, I said, that's jumping out too much. He wants it to feel like it sits in the band. So I cut it in half to 1.5 dB, and I can quickly, by bypassing this, I can go back and forth and decide if it's working or not. So that brings it up just enough to just peak over the top of the mix so it's heard throughout the solo, but it's not too much like the 3 dB was, and I can quickly do that. The other benefit of that is if you do that tweak and they come back and say, no, go back to where it was, well, it's easy to say, okay, boom, back to where it was, as opposed to having to write down, okay, the fader was at negative 2.7, and I increased it to, what would that be, negative 1.2. And now I've got to go back to negative 2.7. You can do that, but for me, it's just as easy to have it here. And I know in my mixes, when I'm getting to this point in the mix and I see a mix tool plug-in at the end of the chain, 9 times out of 10, that's being used as a quick volume adjustment. Kind of like the trim function in certain DAWs. I know Pro Tools HD, if you have a bunch of automation and you've got the vocal and there's rides everywhere, but you want to just turn the overall vocal sound up or down, there's a trim feature that takes all that automation and moves it up and down. To me, it's the same idea. I'm just using an extra volume knob to do it. Okay? So I'm going to send these off. I think I've got 2 more quick. He says he wants a couple of 2 dB changes to 2 tracks, and then I'm going to send this off to him. Went through email, got all that caught up, so if you were waiting on an email from me, you should have that. And also, you may have noticed if you're on my Facebook page, earlier today I posted, if you've been interested in, so what you're seeing in front of you is a mix. I'm doing a custom mix plus video, new kind of offering that I do, where I mix your song and I also shoot a video of me mixing it, kind of a custom tutorial just for you, where you can get my mix just like you're a mixing client, but also you get the video so you can learn from that and hopefully turn that around and start mixing your own stuff. So if you're interested in that, check out the link below the video or on the Facebook page, And if it's something you want to do, might be cool. Otherwise, hope you're having a great Monday. See you later.